Have you ever felt like your life is hollow? Well, there's a reason for that. And it's because humanity has been programmed entirely. Everything has been curated for us. And that is why sometimes life just feels so fake and inauthentic. Today I want to talk about that because it's something that I've kind of discovered along my awakening journey. A couple of videos ago, I talked about a really dark awakening I had. And this is just one of those things that I really started to realize. And, some of these things might be super, already known to you, well known, obvious, common sense. But some of these things also, could trigger you, depending on how awake you are. Because this video can either be relatable and resonate with you, or this video will trigger you, because we have to understand that we are in somewhat of a matrix, right? The movie The Matrix is just so incredibly mirroring to our true reality, and most people are still plugged into the Matrix, believe it or not. So if you want to watch this video just to hear somebody that you can relate to for once in your life, or you want to watch this video because you are awakening and you're confused about some things, or you're watching this to laugh because you're triggered, either way, it's all good. Wait till the end, and I'm going to teach you how to get back to authenticity and how to continue to be authentic and feel more fulfilled in life as opposed to feeling hollow. So join me. This is Treu Sovereignty. We are mastering our minds so we can reclaim our peace. I also have social media, Treu Sovereignty on Instagram and TikTok. And then my personal Instagram is Treu Travels. And then my cat has an Instagram. It's Tootie _ AKA _ Toot. So if you're interested in cat stuff, go check her out. But otherwise, let's get into the video. So social media certainly hasn't helped any of this. It's made it incredibly simple for fake people and inauthentic people, or even narcissistic people, to show their best face online. And people just, eat it up. They fall for it. And the reality is, whether it's a couple's Instagram or a fitness person or a model, I just need you to realize that no matter what you're seeing on social media, even me, you don't know what's actually going on in someone's life. And the grass is not always greener. So stop comparing yourself. Stop wishing your life were different just because of the BS you see on social media, because that's the truth. It's just BS. Kindness is, I've made a video on this before. It's called Stop Being Kind. And I think one of my biggest pet peeves is people who are virtue signalers, where they pretend to be kind, but their kindness is like a show, covering up who they truly are. But in that, they paint everybody else out to be evil if they're not believing exactly what they're believing. Another thing is algorithms and echo chambers. We're stuck in these echo chambers, which has actually made politics radicalized. It has radicalized a lot of people. And it's made people, actually, what I've noticed, especially on the left, not really on the right, but on the left, it's made people go back to things like World War II and slavery and bring those things up and blame people for those things today, even though none of us were alive during those times. It's just really strange. It's almost like, look, if you want to move forward from it and forget about it, let's do that. Let's stop bringing it up and talking about it. It's almost like they're repeating history. Today, I had someone go on one of my socials, my Instagram. Their username was F Whites. And they were commenting on my posts a bunch of, racist stuff. but racist towards white people, not racist towards black people. So it's almost like we're going backwards and we're like repeating history, despite the fact that their main goal is not to repeat history. It's so fucking weird, and it's so cringy, and it's just, it's like they're doing, like, also a thing with the left is they call the people on the right fascists, but yet yet the left is acting like they are fascist. It's like a pot calling the kettle black. It's really odd. So we're in these echo chambers, and everybody thinks they're the hero because that's typically a human thing, right? Everybody thinks they're on the good side, on the right side of history. The truth is, at this point, let's get into it. Politics. Politics is incredibly fake. It is so fake at this point, and I don't know why you vote if you do. Like I said, this might trigger you. I don't believe in voting. I think voting is a bunch of BS. Okay? I'm not saying that it's a total lie. I can't, say that as a fact. But my opinion is that it is. It's that it's just totally curated. It's totally fake. And you're not actually getting a say. You're not... Sorry, the camera. You're not actually voting for anything. Modern politics has been set up to be like a reality TV show, I mean, look who is the United States' president. Literally a reality TV star. And he just says the wildest shit. And it's like, there's things I agree with him on, there's things I disagree with him on, but the main thing is that I know he's just an actor. I know they're just actors. They're not actually here to help us. They don't actually care about us. And they're in it for the money. And, I know Trump doesn't make a salary. That's not what I'm saying. But because of all this publicity, now his businesses make money. And not only that, but okay, so voting doesn't count. So who is making the political decisions? Probably giant corporations, billionaires, and even now pharmaceutical, big pharma. Yes, I think they're all making the political decisions. And I think that they are leading our country into tyranny, dictatorship, full control, dystopia. I know it sounds, to some of you, it's going to sound a little bit like cliche, but it's true. I mean, watch out for the digital ID, because I'll make a video on the digital ID. You're going to want to avoid that. You're going to want to speak out against it. Because the digital ID is the end of freedom. It really will be. And it's going to come in a package of convenience and making life easier. Never have to go to the DMV again type of thing. Never have to carry your passport type of thing. It's going to make your life easier, but in the long run, it's going to be a prison. You're going to be in a prison. Who is making the political decisions? It's not the people anymore. It's billionaires funding politicians, choosing politicians with their money. Money talks. I mean, look at Bill Gates. Bill Gates he now is trying to take control of the FDA. He went from Windows, being a computer geek, to now trying to take over the FDA, and who controls the food, controls everything. Now he's in our vaccines. There's just a bunch of BS behind the Bill Gates bullshit. And I'll tell you right now, if you talk to anybody about this, any normies, anybody who has refused to look into any of this stuff, they're going to tell you you're crazy. They're going to tell you to shut up. They're going to tell you that you're a conspiracy theorist, like it's some sort of an insult, when in reality, a conspiracy theorist is just a critical thinker. So yeah, our whole entire political system, in, I would say, most countries, not just the USA, but most countries, especially first world countries, but also other countries as well, All of it is a show. It's all set up. It's all fake. It means nothing. We're actually being controlled by billionaires. That's what's happening. That's the truth. And if you're not ready to believe it, then you're not ready to believe it. But if you're wondering why the world is so fucked up, or the country is so fucked up, that's why. Because billionaires don't actually care about people. They're actually billionaires because they were willing to exploit people to get the money that they have. So, food for thought. Now, believe me, I'm not one for a socialist society either. I believe that we need to work for our money, that if you make money, you earned it and you have a right to keep it and do whatever you want to do with it. I'm not saying that if you've made $1 million, you're exploiting people, but I definitely think that if you've made $1 billion, you have found a way to exploit people. But another thing that is fake is our money. It's just paper that we assigned a meaning to. The gold standard is gone, which means our money has lost immense value. And it's losing value every day, the dollar. It's losing value every single day. The cost of living has gone up, and wages stay the same. But yet we have billionaires who own companies like Amazon who can afford to pay their workers a living wage, and yet they don't. We can print money endlessly, but we don't give it back to the people who actually need it. And it's like, why are there starving people and homeless people who have jobs? You know, why do we have to have 3 jobs in order to live? I mean, here's something that is kind of shitty. I think that the generation that is especially brainwashed from all of this is the boomer generation, because they grew up in a high trust society and their money was more valuable. Their dollar went further. You could have one job and take care of a medium to large sized family, have a house, have a couple cars, and one of the parents could stay at home with the kids. And they didn't need to pay for daycare and all this crap. Not only that, but the nuclear family system is so fucked, because family is really supposed to be a village. Like, we are supposed to be like a village of people. Whether it's a village of family or just the village of your neighborhood, taking care of the newborns, taking care of the kids. And now it's just 2 working parents who either have to pay $4,000 a month for daycare, or one of the parents has to have multiple jobs and the other parent is stuck by themselves taking care of the kids, which, by the way, is probably the most exhausting, draining job on the planet that you're not getting paid for. That's another fake aspect of life, is this idea of the nuclear family and how they've kind of set it up where we are just at a loss at this point. There is no way to win. There is no American dream anymore. If you're thinking like you're gonna live the American dream, good luck with that. I'm not saying you can't be a millionaire. It is possible. It's a goal of mine. You know, it's still a goal of mine to make a ton of money, but my fear is that when I finally become a millionaire, it's not even going to be enough. It's not even going to be enough because it's almost like we're chasing the carrot on the string on a treadmill. It's like the goalposts keep getting moved. We can never catch up on our bills. We can never catch up on our debt. We can never reach a point where we are just comfortable. Thankfully, I found a way to do it, but not a lot of people have. And, you know, at the very least, we should be able to have 1 job per family, per nuclear family, or per person, and be able to make a living wage, to be able to afford a house, to take care of ourselves, and maybe have a nice vacation a couple times a year. God forbid we take vacation. Another thing that really fucking boggles me is corporate. The corporate world. Now, I work in the corporate world, so I'm very versed on the corporate lingo and the corporate culture, and it's just such a circus to me. It's so fake. I want nothing to do with it. It almost like disgusts me that I'm even a part of it, but guess what? I have to make money to pay bills. But everything's just all made up in corporate. Like, I can make a whole video on corporate lingo and how people are just so like gung-ho about their jobs, and they take it so seriously, like stupid titles that mean nothing, like manager of assets. It's like, what the fuck is even that? Like, one of the reasons I knew I had to like step out and make this YouTube channel was because I knew that being a remote stay-at-home graphic designer, I'm not making a difference in the world. I'm not doing anything. Like, if I were just to be a graphic designer for the rest of my life and make pretty graphics, which isn't worse, which isn't bad, like creating pretty things, art, design, whatever, that's pretty cool. And creation is a great outlet, of course. I'm not against that. But I know that I'm not necessarily making a difference in the world. And like, what I really want to do is make a difference in the world. And, you know, if I were to just sit around and be a graphic designer and smoke my brains away all day, every day, and drink on the weekends, what kind of a life is that? You know, after a while, to me, it just became this unfulfilling thing that I just didn't want to continue anymore. So climbing the corporate ladder, searching for your purpose in another person's business, in another person's money-making scheme, you know, in another person's dream, that's pretty much all it is. You're making pennies so somebody can make millions. And that's not to say that there is, you know, if you do want to climb the corporate ladder and that's your purpose, that's great. Maybe you are making a difference in some sort of a way. I don't know. I can't say that for everybody. But I just can't see it for me, working in corporate all my life. I'm just goddamn lucky that I get to work from home. That I don't have to go into an office and see and be fake with all my coworkers. I've even stopped attending meetings that are pointless with my coworkers because they have these meetings because we work from home where we just talk to each other about nothing. I've stopped attending those because to me it's just all fake, stupid BSing around. And it's like, I could be doing something so much better with my time. So, I'm sorry to say, but your job is fake as fuck, and it's probably not making a difference in any type of way, shape, or form. And if you're feeling hollow and unfulfilled, it might be because your job is kind of hollow and unfulfilling. I also wanted to chime in about love and how this package of love has been sold to us. Because most likely your idea of love is the idea of love that was given to you, which is like Disney movie love. Women think love is buy me things, and men think love is give me sex. And it's like, wow, how transactional is that? It is just so kind of disgusting, honestly. Like hearing these poor women having to go out on these dates and the men calling afterwards being like, hey, can you actually pay me for the dinner because you didn't put out? Disgusting. I mean, it's absolutely disgusting. And this is not just disgusting on the men's part, it's also disgusting on the women's part because poor women want millionaire men. And what are you putting on the table? Just your body, your looks? What? Like, those don't last forever. Newsflash. But dating apps, it's being sold to us in a package. And I already have a video about what true love is. I don't need to go into it right now. It's gonna take way too long, but it certainly isn't what we're doing right now. And that is why dating is so fucked. I mean, think about it. Marriage, I used to be a wedding videographer. I've been to tons of weddings. There's great money in the wedding industry, I'll tell you that much. Because these couples are just being sold and upsold on every single thing like you could ever think of. It's like, okay, like for me, if I ever like met the love of my life, first of all, I'd never want to get married. I don't need the government involved in my relationship. If I want to break up with someone, I don't want to go through a process and pay a lawyer in order to do that. That sounds like a fucking nightmare. No, thank you. It's not that I don't want to get married because I don't trust anyone. That's not it at all. It has nothing to do with the person themselves. It actually has to do with how marriage has been sold to us as this end-all, be-all of how your relationship is supposed to end up. And it's not. Like, marriage is not going to save your relationship if it's on the rocks. You know, having a baby is not going to save your relationship if it's on the rocks. If anything, it's going to make it worse. Just look at the statistics of marriage and all that crap. Me being against marriage has nothing to do with me not believing that love exists. I do believe that love exists, but I think that what we've been sold is this curated form of love. Like, spend 30 grand on a wedding, sign a government contract, and then when the woman, because it's mostly women, decides to divorce the husband, you know, then she gets alimony and she gets tons of money for really nothing. Kids or no kids. She's getting money from it. Who knows why? Because that was set up way back when women couldn't really work, or they just didn't work, or they couldn't drive, or couldn't vote. They didn't really have many rights. That was set up for that. We don't have that anymore. But anyway, love is being sold to us, and like I said before, the nuclear family has been destroyed. It's already destroyed. You know, people want to say the nuclear family is being destroyed, but it's already destroyed. If you do not have a village, you know, 2 sets of grandparents that live near you, willing to help you, maybe even some cousins nearby or friends who are willing to help you look after your family, most likely your relationship with your husband or whoever you're with is going to deteriorate. There's going to be tons of strain put on your relationship. You're going to not want to have sex anymore because you're too tired. And then the lack of sex is going to permeate into the relationship. And you're not going to feel loved. There's going to be resentment. And that's how relationships break down and fall apart, because it's just 2 people who have full-time jobs who have to also take care of their kids and all those activities. It makes no sense. It really just makes no sense anymore. The way that we have curated family life today, it just makes zero sense. So people are under way too much pressure, way too much stress, and if you're wondering why the birth rates are going down, that's something to think about. Our food is fake. Our drugs are fake. The things that are supposed to make us well, which is our pharmaceutical drugs, tons of science and time being put into these things, but they cater to well people who are going to come back and pay more money for these drugs. But, you know, in the United States, if you want to take an ambulance, that's $10,000 that your insurance isn't even going to cover, even though we spend so much money on insurance every month. It just makes no sense. Like, I don't even want to go to the doctor, because just because I have insurance doesn't mean anything. It still means I gotta pay co-pays. I still have to pay partially for if I need like an x-ray, or if I need meds, I still have to partially pay for meds. Insurance, healthcare, it should be free. I know that creates other issues, but, you know, most countries or first world countries have a system of free healthcare. And it's like, it's time the United States gets on that and figures that out, because at this point, we know that it's all for profit, and you're not actually curing anybody, and you might not actually be treating anybody, let alone the fact that doctors these days are well known to gaslight people, especially women who come to them. And then on top of that, what is making us sick? Why are we all sick? Why do our kids have ADHD? Why are we all distracted? Why are we all fucked in the head? Because our food has ingredients in it that we don't even know. And we're only really just starting to realize that. I think someone was saying today, I saw that they might have taken away glyphosate, but they replaced it with something else. So glyphosate is a pesticide that they use for produce, wheat. So it's in your bread, it's in your vegetables, it's in your fruit, if you don't buy organic. Well, yeah, they may have taken that out in certain instances, and it might not be in organic products. Of course, those are more expensive. But they've replaced it with another type of pesticide. And then I always see memes that are like, humans are the only people who poison their food to prevent other animals from eating it, but then we eat it ourselves. It just makes no fucking sense. So, are we like micro-poisoning ourselves? Yes, we are micro-poisoning ourselves. And not even that, but our foods are fake. Any processed food is probably bullshit. And if you want to buy non-bullshit processed foods or organic foods, you're probably going to have to pay an arm and a leg. So starting off, how can you get back to the real? How can you become more grounded in this really inauthentic world that we are living in? I'm going to give you some tips. You can take it or leave it. I don't really care, but it's up to you. It's worked for me because I feel real. I feel fulfilled. I feel authentic. I feel like I can fully be myself and not really give a fuck what others think. So if you want to get to that point, follow these tips. First of all, we just got off the topic of food. Eat whole foods for the most part. Just eat fish, chicken, meat, try to avoid a ton of boxed items. Try to avoid fast food as often as possible. Everything is about moderation. Everything is about the majority of the time, right? You want to stick to whole foods the majority of the time. And I mentioned meat, but I also will mention dairy and produce as well. Probably better to do organic. Now, just look at the ingredients. You want to avoid things like dyes, too much added sugar, enriched wheat flour. Stick to maybe sourdough for bread. Maybe try to find a butcher or try to find a bakery. What else? I prioritize protein. What else in the ingredients list? Avoid seed oils. Avoid, there's people who are going to tell you you're crazy for trying to avoid seed oils. Just do it. They create inflammation in the body. For politics, be an objective person. Don't pick a side. Don't listen to the people who are like, you're on the side of the oppressor if you don't pick a side. Shut the fuck up. I can do what I want. And you can't tell me if I'm a good or a bad person. And you know what? If you don't want to be in my life because I don't agree with your slave owner, then leave. I don't care. Fucking leave. I don't give a crap if you don't like me. Go away. Yeah, you might lose friends, you might lose family, but who gives a crap? Try to be a more objective person. I'm not saying take yourself out of the political climate, because I do think we should stand for what we believe in and fight for what we believe in when we have to. But try to look into things like maybe like libertarianism, or don't even label yourself. Just be you. You don't have to be a Democrat or Republican. And I would highly advise to stop voting and to kind of boycott participating in politics. If you can, stop paying taxes. I still pay taxes. Don't come for me. But, you know, if we can all figure out a way to finagle the system, that would be kind of like ideal. But in any way, shape, or form, just because I pay taxes doesn't mean I believe in them. But otherwise, realize that they're all just actors. It's all fake. The ones actually controlling it are the elites, the ones with the billions of dollars, pretty much. Now, for social media and all this shit that we are fed in life, weddings, I mean, anything that's kind of curated to us and sold to us, just be aware. Excuse me, I'm burping. It's time to just be aware. All it is really is having awareness that this shit is all fake, that this shit is all curated, that everybody's kind of in a trance, everybody's brainwashed. Are you gonna feel isolated? Yes. Are you gonna feel lonely? Yes. Are you gonna feel crazy? Yes. But you have to get used to that, and you will adapt to it, because that's what our brains are designed to do. They're designed to adapt. So don't be scared. You know, there's other people who think like you. Believe me. Try not to take their medicine. You know, if you are on depression meds, consider microdosing psilocybin. You know, if you're on meds because you do have some sort of a mental illness, obviously I'm not a doctor. You know, don't take my advice. But this is just what I think. I think that staying as far away from the pharmaceutical bullshit is necessary. Go into nature. I'm in nature right now. Look at this. Go into nature. And yes, I post on social media. That's because I have something to say. That is why I'm on social media. But as you can see, I'm not on social media showing off my, like, bikini body. Like, I'm not on there for attention and validation. I'm on there to get the word out. So if you have something to say it. So, like, stay off of social media for validation, and more so post if you have maybe something important to say, or if you want to speak to family, I don't know. But ground yourself, meditate, read books off of a screen, try to get away from the screen time, travel the world, talk to people, make connections with people, get off the dating apps, go out, join a club, go to a third space, go out to eat, even if it's by yourself. If your friends don't want to do something, go ahead and do it anyway. Just make sure that your reality is more real than on the screen. Like, if you're in the line at the grocery store, you know, maybe do this a little bit every time. Try not to use your phone. If you're waiting in a line, try not to use your phone. Try to just stand there and be present with yourself. I would recommend not getting married, not playing into that shit. You're only making your government footprint more complicated. The less you can be involved in the government, I believe, the better. I know that there are benefits to getting married monetarily, but it's honestly really not that worth it at the end of the day, because if you do decide to divorce, you're going to be paying an arm and a leg for that. So instead of feeling trapped, why not just keep your sovereignty? That's what this channel is about, keeping your sovereignty. Stay individualistic, because you never know. Your partner can flip up on you and switch up on you one day. You could grow apart. You just never know what could happen. Keep your independence. Keep your sovereignty. Stay monetarily independent. Never rely on somebody else, money-wise, because then you're just going to end up getting used and possibly abused. Always just rely on yourself, whether you have a partner or not. And when you go out for dating, date intentionally. Let's, stay away from hookup culture, stay away from, expectations of the other person, like hardcore expectations, like pay for my shit or give me sex. It's time that we stop doing that kind of shit. Real true love is different. I have a video on it, so go check it out. Try to stay in your reality and don't fall for the stupid gimmicks. I'm sure I'm gonna end this video and I'm gonna be like, oh, I should have said that, or oh, I should have said this. Here's the thing. I'll end it with this. I'll end this whole thing with this. Most people are not gonna understand. Most people are still asleep. Most people are still plugged into the Matrix. So don't come out of this thinking like, oh, I gotta go tell my family and friends about this. No, just keep it to yourself. Keep it quiet. Obviously, I'm not keeping it quiet, but I'm also not like burdening my family and my friends with this shit. Even my friends that are really intelligent, they don't really get it. They're never going to, unless they're ready. So just realize that this is a very personal journey, and it's really just to make you feel better, to make you feel less hollow. So comment down below, has anything I said woken you up? Are you triggered by anything that I said? Or are you already aware of this stuff? Let me know down below. I'd really love to know your thoughts. Please check out my socials, subscribe, like, comment, share. Overall, go out there and do something kind for somebody today. Or tomorrow, whenever you have the time. Do that. It'll help you stay grounded also, and it'll help you feel a little bit better. Talk to people, stay curious, stop accusing people of things, and I will see you in the next video.